All right, so I have put this Ziploc bag on my catch can because I saw a little bit of oil on the bottom there, and I wasn't sure if it was coming from the plug on the bottom or if it was coming from the side, and I can see that there's no oil on the inside but rather the outside. So what it is sometimes these threads get a little saturated with oil and they start to leak, and using the PTFE tape they give you is not really gonna hold up to this type of heat. So the good thing is at least I have some of the thread sealant that I used for my fuel system, so I can just, you know, coat these threads here, reroute it, and then I should be good to go. I can definitely see, I don't know if you can see that on there, see a little bit of oil residue right here. Yeah, so that it's coming from the threads, which isn't a big deal. Another one of the things, it's very hard to get this catch can out of here, but in the first part of the video I was showing you what I caught from the bottom, which is my initial one, and that one usually catches the moisture and stuff like that. The second one is supposed to catch more of the clean oil, and then whatever's left gets burned into the intake. Do this like that. But right there, you can definitely see that there's a very little bit of oil, which is what you want. You don't want a whole bunch of oil, but you can see that the oil is pretty much clean. It's not like chicken noodle soup like the first one is, and that's okay. So you want just a little bit of oil like that. That's not a big deal. The baffle, because there's a baffle in here, I'll show you. This baffle right here is catching all the oil, and you can see that as a residue on my fingers. So that's pretty much the reason why you want to run two. So like I've mentioned before, and I do have some new subscribers and people asking questions, but my initial catch can here is going to my secondary, and then right here it goes into my inlet. So this guy on the inlet is sucking in all that fresh air. So I'll try to show you because everything's black, so it's gonna be kind of hard to see, but on one side you have the valve cover, right? This side you have the valve cover. So you're gonna see the PCV or the tubing coming out of there. So it's gonna be hard to route it, but hopefully you can see it. And there's really nowhere to put this light because there's nothing really attaching to it. But you see the back there, 2 metal clamps. I got a plastic barb in between. So that's just coming from your driver's side valve cover. And it's going up, and then it Y's off right here. And that Y is taking it from this breather port right here that's right in front of the turbo. It goes into a Y. The Y, all it's doing is it's taking one part of the tubing to go to the primary first catch can. The second part of the Y, all it's doing is routing into this guy here, because I'm trying to suck out as much oil as I can from the vapor. So I'm taking it from the breather port block, I'm taking it from one valve cover, and I'm taking it from the second. That's the only reason I have the Y and the T, so don't get confused on it. It's just because I'm pulling it from multiple areas. If you're not gonna pull anything from here and just the valve covers, then don't worry about the Y and the T and all that. Then you just route it the way Cusco has it, or you know, Aero Separator. There's different ways to route it. I just have mine like this so I can pull the most oil out of the air. So you go from the Y into a T. The T goes goes the inlet on the first catch can. The outlet comes out, routes in to the inlet of my second catch can, and then the outlet goes into my intake. So it's pretty much a closed loop system. I'm not venting anything to atmosphere. You could get an air oil separator that does vent to atmosphere, but I'm not running that, nor do I need to. So for right now, this is what I'm running, just the 2 catch cans, which have been sufficient for me. I have an IAG block, so IAG recommends that you run a catch can at a minimum, but even for a normal build with the stock turbo, you still want to run something. You don't want to just use the stock PCV system, because the stock PCV system is still trying to remove some of your air and oil, but it's not going to be able to remove a lot. So that's why sometimes you'll see people remove their top mount and they have oil saturation or oil pouring out of their catch or their intercooler. On mine, when I took mine off, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any oil in the throttle body or anything like that. Now I do, very little bit, because I have a bigger turbo, and obviously it's taking in more air with this 3-inch inlet versus the stock one that's very small. That's why you'll see that I do have a little bit of oil, but right now it's very clean. Even on my blow-off valve, there's not very much at all. So that's just a quick recap on my dual catch can and how I ran them. And just to show you that they actually do work, you'll see in the video of what I caught in the plastic container. Okay, so this is what I caught from the primary can, which you saw pouring into this container here from my drip tube. This here is moisture mixed with the oil. Now it looks like it's a lot of oil, but it's actually more moisture, because usually it's separated. And if I leave it long enough, you'll see the oil and the water separate. But right now, this is what you don't want going back in your engine. So if you don't have a catch can or air oil separator, this is exactly what's going to be sucked into your intake. Now, mind you, I am running ethanol, so my ethanol is obviously going to have a little bit more moisture than, say, 93, but it's still the same thing. You're still going to have moisture, you're still going to have oil, and this here is one of the byproducts of having an IAG engine and a bigger turbo. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other questions, just ask in the comment section. I'll be able to, answer them as I get them. I'll try to help you with as much as I can. I've pretty much gone through a lot with this motor. I already blew up my stock one, so I pretty much know what I've learned, actually. I've been able to learn from that experience. So this ring's very, very brittle, you can tell. I mean, it's been sitting out for a long time, but this ring, they suck on the stock piston. And I don't believe I have a stock piston anymore. I threw it away, but anyways, that's it for now. Hopefully this was helpful, and like I said, just comment down below if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.